I want to turn our attention to Idaho now, where we are hearing new reaction from one of the families affected by a quadruple murder. Bryan Kohberger appeared in court yesterday, waiving his right to a speedy preliminary hearing, and the judge set the next hearing date for June 26th. He showed up with shaving cuts on his face as attorneys continue to build their case. The defendant faces 4 murder counts connected to the deaths of 4 University of Idaho students. The preliminary hearing is going to determine whether Kohberger will enter a plea and what that plea will be. After those proceedings yesterday, Kaylee Goncalves' family attorney spoke out, saying none of the victims knew this suspect. Our very own Kaylee Painter was able to place Kaylee at a Washington State University bar where Kohberger attended school. The defendant is charged with the murders of those 4 students, but the motive still remains unknown from authorities. Court TV legal correspondent Kaylee Painter has the latest out of Idaho. Kaylee.
The accused mass murderer of 4 college students, Bryan Kohberger, has elected to wait until June 26th to challenge the prosecution's evidence against him. At that preliminary hearing, the magistrate court judge will decide whether it is more likely than not that Bryan Kohberger committed the crimes that he is accused of, and if so, bound his case over to the district court, something that usually has to happen within 14 days, according to Idaho law, unless waived by the defense. Kohberger's waiver of a speedy preliminary hearing surprised the family of Kaylee Goncalves. The family attorney spoke to me after the hearing.
Well, I think we were all surprised that the preliminary hearing was set 6 months out. I suspected they would have it within the next, month, at maybe 2 months at the most.
Shannon Gray represents the Goncalves family, who were not present at the hearing, but say a representative will attend every step of the way. The family has been vocal from the beginning, even conducting their own investigation, and now telling Court TV there was no prior connection between Kaylee and Kohberger. They also tell me that while they knew of a knife sheath found at the crime scene, they didn't know that there was a DNA profile on it.
I think the biggest piece of evidence that jumps out to you is the DNA evidence on the sheet. I think that's the one piece of evidence that will be hard to explain as a defense attorney.
The Goncalves family attorney also told me that he plans to set up a meeting with the family and prosecutor Bill Thompson to get a feel for the case moving forward, and likely the family will tell him their thoughts on punishment.
The family would like the death penalty. Idaho is a death penalty state. I think it's something that they would want as a resolution on this case if there's a conviction. I think that's something obviously that the prosecutor's office, Latah County Prosecutor's Office, would have to speak with all of the victims' families and see where that leads them regarding down the line. But we kind of cross those bridges when we come to it.
And the prosecutor would have 90 days in which to file a notice of intent to seek that death penalty after Kohberger enters a formal plea, but that is months away. We now await just the preliminary hearing, June 26th, and Court TV will be there.
Our thanks to Kaylee Painter for that report. I want to bring back in Marie Pereira for reaction to this case out of Idaho. Marie, this element that this defendant knew or did not know the victims, how does that weigh into a future trial in the litigation of this case, also considering that there's a possibility this could be a death penalty case?
The prosecution doesn't have to prove motive, although jurors like to see a motive. They like to hear about, okay, why did you do this? Make it make sense. At the end of the day, though, they can proceed with just the circumstantial evidence that you did that. We have your DNA. We have an eyewitness who you walked by on your way out. We put you there on your cell phone. We pinged you there with GPS, and you were there. We don't have to prove why you were there, as long as we can prove that you did this based on the facts that we have, DNA, phone records, witnesses who saw you there.
Looking at those 4 photos there of the victims in this case, that truly should be the focus of this. Though we now are talking about litigation and Kohberger so much, we're still learning new details about the victims in this case. And Xana Kernodle was once a talented child gymnast. WFTS has more on this story, the Florida gymnastics team that is remembering Xana and dedicating their season in her honor.
It takes an element of mental toughness to rise above in gymnastics. But for Xana Kernodle,
Xana was just the spark that ignited our team.
Todd McLean is one of the owners at Apollo Beach Gymnastics Academy. He was also Xana's former gymnastics coach when they had a gym back in Idaho. Xana was one of the 4 University of Idaho students found dead in November.
It felt like getting kicked in the stomach, just having an emptiness inside.
McLean was the talented gymnast's coach for about 6 years.
Just if you'd spent 5 minutes with her, you would have fallen in love with her. She just loved everybody, and she was so witty, so funny. She would have drawn you in.
Hi, my name is Xana, and I'm 12 years old.
Hi, my name is Sydney, and I'm 13 years old.
She was just the funniest person. If you were with her, you were laughing the whole time, and that's just the kind of person she was.
No.
Sydney Gribnitz, McLean's daughter, was Xana's childhood best friend.
I was here actually working, and we found out it was her. And then I coached. I was a hot mess all night watching the girls, because it's kind of like watching me and Xana's relationship, the relationships they have with each other.
McLean tells me their team this year decided to dedicate their upcoming season in her honor. They're also fundraising for the Xana Kernodle Scholarship Endowment and awarding the first ever Xana Kernodle Inspiration Award to the most inspirational athlete of this season.
She was just a light. If she walked into a room, she lit it up.
Small ways to keep her memory alive. In Apollo Beach, Mary O'Connell, ABC Action News.
Our thanks to Mary O'Connell at our affiliate WFTS for that report. Court TV is going to have more updates on the Moscow, Idaho murders throughout the day.